from maternity leave. We are so excited to see you, Caroline, and you got a picture of baby JJ right behind you.
Lisa, I'm so excited to be back, and I'll tell you what, maternity leave was a dream. I want to show everyone JJ, that is Jack Jr. You can see this is me and him in his nursery. He really grew so much in the first 12 weeks, and a huge part of that was also due to thanks from my wonderful husband, Jack. Really, JJ just thriving here in Houston. He is loving it. And I think my favorite part of parental leave, that was early April when he started to do a social smile, just such a rewarding feeling. And then he was constantly smiling. In fact, one of his biggest smiles was when he saw his first sunset here in Texas. This is actually the background on my phone. This is my favorite photo right now. And then just this last week, for my final few days off, we took him to the zoo. You can see he's got his sun hat. He absolutely loved it, and I loved having that time with him, especially letting him see the zoo and the giraffes. In fact, if you want to see the giraffes right now, a live look from the Houston Zoo, you can see we've got plenty of sunshine, a lot of folks out and about wearing t-shirts, tank tops. You cannot blame them because temperatures, they're on the warm side. Currently 87 degrees at the zoo. Feeling like 95. Winds are coming from the south at 16 miles per hour, so that breeze likely going to be feeling pleasant if you're out and about going for a walk, but you can't get besides the point that it is still hot out there. Temperatures currently sitting in the mid to upper 80s, 88 here in Houston, 89 in Conroe. That's before you factor in the humidity. Factor in the humidity, everybody feeling like the mid 90s. So this afternoon, if you're taking the kiddos to the playground, to the park, make sure they stay very hydrated. Temperatures peaking out around 95 at 3 o'clock. It's going to be feeling closer to the triple digits. So an extremely warm afternoon. And this is what we're going to be seeing as we go through the weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. Air temperatures reaching the mid-90s. It's not until the middle of next week that we'll start to see a drop in temperatures. Lisa, that's coming with a cold front. But I've got much more details on that coming up.
We will see you soon, and we're so happy you're back. And little baby JJ is beautiful. Precious.
Thank you. Have a Category 1 hurricane, and then the next year, so many folks, the big thing they talk about was the derecho,
right.
And for good reason. I mean, the derecho was devastating. I want to show you some of the official wind speeds at 74 miles per hour. So this was the equivalent of a Category 1 hurricane when we talk about wind speeds. Cyprus saw 65 mile per hour wind gusts, and of course, that's where we had those power lines completely mangled. What really didn't help after the derecho was the intense temperatures, and we're seeing intense temperatures once again this year. In fact, the past 3 days, every single day, we've been seeing high temperatures set records. Unfortunately, today likely going to be no exception, but we are tracking a cold front. In fact, that cold front has been pushing its way into the state, currently approaching the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Not going to be reaching us here in Houston, but it is possible our far northern counties will start to feel the effect of it. You can see some pretty big storms starting to fire up just ahead of St. Louis, and the Midwest is actually where we have our highest severe threat today. You'll notice here in Southeast Texas, we are in the clear. It's only going to be our far northern counties, Madison County down towards Bryan College Station, where an isolated strong storm can't be ruled out as we head into this evening. As for right now, though, we are not tracking anything on the radar. Clear skies in terms of rain, but if you take a look outside, you can see we've got cloud cover out there. We're also dealing with a little bit of a haze. This is what we see pretty much every single mid-May. That's because they start to do controlled burns in Mexico and Central America. All of that smoke moves in. It just makes it hot, humid, but then also hazy. Air quality is still going to be moderate range, but we are keeping an eye on that. Otherwise, it is all about the heat. Temperature currently 88 here in Houston, 84 in Liberty, so a warm start to what is going to be a blistering hot afternoon. Really, the only relief is going to be the winds coming in from the Gulf, sustained pretty breezy at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Unfortunately, this is increasing our humidity, and that's why as we head into the afternoon, it's actually going to be feeling close to 101 degrees. So not quite heat advisory criteria, but certainly on the warm side. You can see those winds, thankfully, are going to be continuing to stay breezy, gusting up to 25 miles per hour as we head through the afternoon. But it doesn't change the fact that our feels like better. And when it comes to Houston in summertime, those are the winds that we try to look for.
Come on, cold front. We're hoping it
lower humidity.
Oh, we'll take that any day.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Caroline. I'm in Southeast Texas, Caroline.
I mean, it's intense, but I think it's important to stress that this is not just the start of summer. This is not normal. We should cool down just a tad because we are much hotter than we should be. In fact, take a look at this. And the consistency is just not normal. Our typical high right now should be about 87 degrees. And we're going to get back there. As for satellite and radar, you can see a cold front pushing its way across the state, bringing a bit of high clouds to areas like Dallas down towards Austin. It's also bringing with it those severe storms for areas in the Midwest. That's where they have a high risk of severe storms. Thankfully, on the tail end of that cold front, we're not expected to see really anything strong or anything at all. Our far northern counties like Madison County down towards Bryan College Station, an isolated storm could clip your area later this evening. Not looking very likely though. Most of us just going to be dealing with partly cloudy skies, not forecasting any rainfall here in the Houston area. In fact, our Storm Tracker 2 radar showing clear skies out there. A live look over the Southwest Freeway. You can see puffy cumulus clouds, some peaks of sunshine out there. All in all, a warm but pleasant afternoon. Temperatures currently sitting in the mid to upper 80s. Right now, 88 in Sugar Land, 86 up in Livingston. Look at Austin, already climbing to 90 degrees. And we're all going to be sitting in the 90s here pretty soon as well. The one thing that's going to help you feel better are going to be these winds sustained from the south, about 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting up to 25 miles per hour. Now, the drawback, this is coming from the Gulf, which means it's increasing our humidity. It's going to feel sticky outside, certainly not going to be a good hair day. It's also increasing the heat index. In fact, at the heat of the day, actual air temperature forecast to be about 95 here in Houston. Factor in the humidity, feeling closer to 101. And you'll notice even as we go into the evening, sunset right around 8 p.m., temperature's not going to cool efficiently. Last weekend, we saw lows in the 50s and the 60s. Well, through the next 10 days, we're putting low temperatures in the 70s. So even through the overnight hours, still going to be warm, still going to be on the humid side. Feels like temperatures this afternoon, pretty much for everybody, upper 90s. In the lower 100s, so not quite a heat advisory. For that, we need to be 108, but still make sure you take caution, drink plenty of water, loose fitting, lightweight, light colored clothing. That's going to be your best bet. The heat risk today is going to be major for most of the area. This has actually been expanding over the last several days. Even though our high temperature has been consistent, our humidity has been increasing due to those Gulf winds, and that's why we're increasing our heat risk. Now, over the next 3 days, you're going to see through the weekend actual air temperature continuing to make it into the mid-90s. That means every single day we're going to be flirting with record high temperatures. But if you are traveling, if you're heading up towards Dallas, you could see a bit of a cool down. You can see that cold front pushes through the northern part of the state this afternoon. That's going to bring thunderstorm chances not just today, but even as we go into Saturday evening. It's possible to see some heftier storms from Dallas, even down through Austin. But here in Southeast Texas, I think we're going to be clear. Perhaps our far northwest counties, Washington County, you could see an isolated storm on Saturday afternoon. But for most of us, I'm not forecasting really anything to make it through until we get into the middle of next week. Take a look at this extended forecast. Overnight low temperatures are going to be in the upper 70s. Highs are going to be in the mid 90s. Morning, it actually feels really good. So it's perfect for dog walks, just morning, evening. Until then, though, all weekend, find a pool if you can.
We're channeling all of the dry air. Please, please visit us just for one day.
Yeah, and then we'll see you again in October.
I know, right? After Halloween, maybe. Okay, coming up, around with the latest on this forecast. It looks muggy behind you, Caroline.
I mean, you see the humidity, and quite frankly, the reason why it feels like you can see it is because of the haze out there. There's controlled burns in Mexico and Central America. This happens in the beginning of every summer, and that moves in the smoke. That creates a haze. So not just hot and humid, you got to throw in the H here in H-Town. You can see smoke is going to continue to be billowing in even as we go into the day tomorrow. So that haze not going anywhere. Usually it doesn't feel quite as icky. I think this year it's feeling a bit bad only because we are so hot so soon. Temperatures right now across southeast Texas, upper 80s and the lower 90s. 93 here in Houston, 91 up in Huntsville. Check out College Station right now, 94 degrees. This evening, as you're taking the dog for a walk, temperatures slow to cool down. Sunset right around 8 p.m., but even by 9, humid and 84. Overnight temperatures not cooling down very efficiently. In fact, tonight only going to be dropping into the upper 70s. As for your daytime highs through the next several days, you're going to notice temperatures staying in the mid 90s. Lisa, the heat, the humidity, and that haze staying with us at least through the weekend.
Okay, Caroline, we'll check back. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, so we're waiting for some relief, but...
And it could come, I will say. Looks towards the middle of next week. We are tracking a little bit of relief, but it's important to note that it is still May in Houston. 95-degree day. That doesn't happen until mid-June, until mid-July. So we're running about 1 to 2 months ahead of time when it comes to heat. That means we should be cooling down. As for today, well, we're tracking a cold front just to our north. You can see storms to northern Arkansas into southern Missouri here. As for that severe weather risk, that's going to be highest in the Midwest, but we're actually seeing it expand into far eastern Texas. This means our far northern counties, areas like Madisonville down towards Bryan College Station, an isolated storm is going to be possible this evening around sunset. But for most of us, we are going to be staying completely dry. In fact, Storm Tracker 2 radar not showing anything across southeast Texas, but we are tracking some nice puffy cumulus clouds on this Friday. A live look from our camera here in our studios in southwest Houston. Plenty of sunshine between the cloud cover. Actual air temperature heating up fast right now. 93 here in Houston, 85 in Lake Jackson, Austin sitting at 95 degrees. Factor in that humidity, and most of us are feeling like 100 degrees. College Station feels like 104. So stay hydrated. Make sure you drink plenty of water. The winds should feel nice, but because they're coming from the south at 10 to 15, it is going to be increasing that humidity. So kind of a double-edged sword there. Hour by hour tonight, temperatures struggling to cool down. By 7 o'clock, still 90, only dropping to 80 by 11 o'clock with that humidity. Any Friday night date night plans? I'd make those reservations inside. Farmers market on your Saturday morning, we're going to start to heat up quick. So the earlier you get out there, the more comfortable it's going to feel. By 11 a.m., already 86 degrees. And not to pile on top of the uncomfortable feeling, but if you suffer from allergies like myself, I would definitely take those medications. Weed pollen is now in the high category, and that's going to be something you're going to feel if you're like me. As for this weekend, if you're going out to play pickleball Saturday or Sunday, both days we're going to be challenging record highs with forecast high temperatures in the mid-90s. Hot, hazy, humid, not a lot of change. In fact, the future track shows that cold front stalling out in North Texas. Everything that enters the state really just does not reach us here by the Gulf. But heads up, if you are heading out to North Texas, Saturday night, some thunderstorms are going to be possible. But here in Houston, we'd like to think we'd have a little bit more of a spring in our step.
Yes.
And I mean, summertime in Houston, lower humidity, that's a treat.
It's everything. And we see a 68 for an overnight low. I'll take that.
Oh, yeah. Just get up and make the most of those mornings.
Exactly. Thanks, Caroline. Now, this weather, give me less, Caroline, because the heat is just...
keeping us warm. Highs in the 90s.
Okay, that's going to do it for us here at 3. We're just about a week and a half away here from the start of hurricane season, Caroline.
A week and a half away, and oftentimes we do see systems form before actually begin hurricane season. Atlantic hurricane season expected to start June 1st, but the Hurricane Center actually starts issuing updates starting on May 15th. That was yesterday. So a live look at the tropics. Thankfully, not expecting anything over the next week, but I want to show you the bigger system at play. If you look at this, you can see almost like these storms are rotating clockwise here. And that's exactly what's happening. This is because we have a massive high pressure system just to our south. This is acting as a heat dome. This is why we've been seeing temperatures topping out about 10 degrees above normal. And that's going to be lasting as we head into the weekend. A live look outside, we've got a mix of sunshine and clouds. It is hot and humid out there. Air temperature currently sitting at 92. Factor in that humidity, feeling close to 100 degrees this evening. Friday night, if you've got date night plans, inside reservation, that's going to be a must. Extra hairspray if you want to keep any curls. By 8 o'clock, still 88 degrees, 84 at 9. Overnight temperatures struggling to cool down with all of that humidity. That means the mornings in the upper 70s, the afternoons. If you've got a friend with a pool, well, I would certainly ask to come over because both Saturday and Sunday high temperatures in the mid 90s are records really coming close both days. Now, the good news is we are tracking a cool down and a dip in our humidity levels. Lisa, unfortunately, we're going to have to wait until the middle of next week, but I've got more details on that coming up.
Hey, at least it's on the way. All right, Caroline, thank you. Talking about this first big heat wave. We're not into officially summer yet, but it feels like it.
I mean, we are getting temperatures that we expect to see in mid-July.
Yes.
So it really is like a very early taste of summertime. I don't think a lot of people are thrilled about it, but
you're right.
You know what? At least we're talking about sunny conditions. So if you can find a splash in a row, we saw record high temperatures. Typically our first 95-degree day, that actually comes June 13th. This year came on May 13th. So a full month earlier. This is not very normal. Now, as we look at the futurecast, you can see satellite and radar. We've got a cold front draped across the state, passing through the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'll tell you what. About 10 hours ago, it was pretty much in the same spot. So we are not expecting this to advance into southeast Texas. So no cooler air, but it could offer some rain chances for areas to our north and to the west. Now, thankfully, the severe weather risk, that's going to be out towards the Midwest. It's only going to be our far northern counties that have the possibility of an isolated thunderstorm. Areas like Madisonville, Bryan College Station, maybe as far south as Lake Somerville. About a 10% chance of seeing an isolated storm after sunset this evening. The rest of us, we are not dealing with any sort of rainfall. In fact, Storm Tracker 2 radar showing everything dry out there. But it's pretty humid. A live look outside over the Southwest Freeway. You can see a mix of sunshine and clouds. And where you have the sunshine, boy, is it hot. Temperatures currently sitting in the lower 90s, 92 here in Houston, 89 up in Livingston. Factor in that humidity, still feels like 102 in Katy. So even though air temperature a bit cooler than yesterday, because we have additional humidity, it's actually feeling a little bit worse. Winds are still coming in from the Gulf, sustained about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So this is helping us feel comfortable as we go through the evening, but hour by hour, struggling to cool down because of that humidity. In fact, even at 4 a.m. in the morning, 78 degrees. That means if you're tasking the kiddos with washing the car tomorrow, the earlier the better, because by 9 a.m., 82 degrees, 86 by 11 a.m. And not to make matters worse, but I do think it's worth mentioning, as of today, our weed pollen is now in the high category. That means if you suffer from allergies, I would certainly recommend taking those medications. I'd also recommend making the earliest pickleball reservation possible, because Saturday and Sunday, mid 90s. It is going to be uncomfortable. As for our future track, that cold front going to be stalling out, but another front drapes in. This is going to bring storm chances from Dallas to Austin on Saturday night. Perhaps our far northwest areas like Bryan College Station down towards Burton and Brenham. You could see an isolated storm on Saturday, but the rest of us, we are going to be staying completely dry. In fact, our next rain chance, that's not going to be moving in until Tuesday. Good news is that's going to be
okay.
This weekend, though, find yourself a swimming pool, splash pad, sprinkler.
Be careful. Bring the pets in. They should already be in, but yeah. Okay, we're going to hang on here. Caroline, thank you.
The last several days, well, unfortunately, that's what we're going to see through the weekend. And I say unfortunately because we have been seeing dangerously hot conditions. A live look outside. It is hot. It is humid. And you might notice a bit of a haze outside. This is actually very typical for this time of year. They do controlled burns in Mexico and Central America. And a high pressure system to our south is funneling all of that smoke into the area. So believe it or not, it could be hotter. Without this smoke, we would expect our temperatures to be 1 to 3 degrees warmer. When you have smoke or haze, low clouds, that reflects more of the sunlight back into space and actually keeps us just a tad cooler. But it's not going to feel much cooler. We're talking 92 versus 95. And right now we're sitting in the lower 90s, 92 here in Houston, 91 up in Crockett. Factor in the humidity and it feels like 100 degrees. That means if you do like to go jogging or runners, later is going to be better. Sunset tonight around 8 p.m. this evening. Temperatures still in the upper 80s. In fact, even by 10 p.m., we're going to be sitting in the lower 80s, 82 degrees. And as we go through the overnight hours, we're only going to be dropping into the upper 70s. This morning, we woke up in the 80s, 81 degrees here in Houston. Low temperatures as we go into tomorrow morning, 78 degrees on Saturday into the afternoon. Once again, going to be making it into the mid-90s. Now, if we do hit the mid-90s, this will be yet another day with a record high temperature. Across the board, dangerous heat. This is what we're expecting not just tomorrow, but also as we go into Sunday. So if you're heading out, maybe you've got softball tournaments. I'll tell you what, both Saturday and Sunday, it is going to be hot on the mound. Sunday, 94. Lisa, the record is 95. We're going to come dangerously close.
The record we never wanted to break.
No.
Here it is. All right, Caroline.
Makes its way across the state. You can see right now pushing through the Dallas area. Unfortunately, this is not going to be making it into southeast Texas, so do not count on a cool down anytime soon. I bring it up because it is going to bring the possibility of some thunderstorms. Now, most of us going to stay completely dry, but our far northern areas not out of the question. Severe weather risk this evening showing the highest threat. That's going to be in the Midwest. Here in Texas, it's going to include Dallas, but it's going to clip some of our far northern counties. This includes areas like Madisonville over towards Bryan College Station. So heads up, an isolated thunderstorm possible this evening. I'm saying about a 10% chance. Most of us, however, we're not going to see anything. In fact, a live look from our Storm Tracker 2 radar where our skies completely dry. Dry, but certainly humid. A look from our Southwest Freeway camera showing a lot of that cloud cover has been tapering off. We're now enjoying mostly sunny skies, and it is feeling rather warm out there. Air temperature currently sitting in the lower to mid 90s, 92 here in Houston, 84 on the island, 87 in Liberty for our friends in Columbus, 93 degrees. This is actual air temperature. When you factor in the humidity, yuck. Everybody feeling like the triple digits. In fact, for our friends in Washington County, up to 90, 106 is what it feels like out there in Brenham. So make sure you drink plenty of water. It is a bit on the breezy side. That's going to be feeling nice, but because it's coming from the Gulf, this is actually increasing our humidity, which means through the weekend, it's going to stay humid and warm. Hour by hour on this Friday night, temperatures struggling to cool down. Overnight lows only going to be making it into the upper 70s. Keep in mind, this morning, we woke up in the 80s, so not a lot of relief. But if you are heading outside to the farmers markets tomorrow morning, earlier the better. By 10 a.m., 84 degrees, 86 at 11, and gardening forecast this weekend. I know blackberries really starting to pop up across Texas, mid-90s, both.
Right at 90. I mean, it's better than a 96 or a 98, right?
I know.
Yeah.
Air conditioning is going to be your bestie this weekend.
It is. Okay, Caroline.